Welcome back to the 2022 Superbird Speedway season. This is our opening week. We got 4 spectacular matchups. We're by the track in a new setting inside our garage. This is only going to be temporary. Here's the rules on the screen. For race 3, we will use lanes 3 and 4 instead of returning back to 1 and 6. We have 4 spectacular matchups. Our first matchup consists of the Carbonator with the 2016 New Year livery going up against the 2013 release of the Forward Speed in blue with the number 7 on the side. That jet turbine looks like it's going to be fast. And then we are followed up by the Bone Shaker. If you've seen this one before, you probably have in a showcase. And that Bone Shaker is going against the 57 Roadster, a very unique shaped casting. And our third matchup is going to be an all-Mopar matchup as the orange Dodge Dart takes on the green Barracuda. And last up for the night, to wrap things up, we will have the Bugatti EB110 versus the McLaren F1. Without a further ado, let's get to our first race.
It's now time for our first matchup between the Carbonator and the Forward Speed as they drive on up and get their engines warm to the track. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our first race in a brand new setting. This is only a temporary setting, so I kind of know that this is a bit of an eyesore. My apologies. I'm working my best to try to make a good setting for you guys. But for outside racing, it just isn't worth it right now. We have a bunch of snow here in Canada. But anyways, let's get to the racing. This is going to be our first race of the 2022 season. We have the Carbonator in lane 1. This is the 2016 New Year's edition. And the Forward Speed that came out in 2013. Let's see who wins. It's best 2 out of 3. Race 1. 3, 2, 1. That may have been one of the worst performances by the Forward Speed by any car on Superbird Speedway that we've ever seen. The Forward Speed has to really step it up, and it ironically has the name of Forward Speed. The Carbonator may have it quite easy here. Let's see who wins the second race. 3, 2, 1. That is our first sweep of the 2022 season, and the Forward Speed must have been given that name ironically, because that was one of the worst performances we've ever seen since we started up the Speedway back in July of 2021. It's now time for our second race. Now we have our second race. That's going to be between the 57 Roadster and the Bone Shaker. Now let's head up to the track. Time for our second race of the evening. We have the 57 Roadster and the Bone Shaker. We've seen a Bone Shaker on this track before, and it absolutely dominated, finishing 3rd place in our entire season last year. Will this Bone Shaker share the same success, or will the 57 Roadster deny it of the success? Best 2 out of 3, let's find out. 3, 2, 1. After I made this matchup, I kind of was regretting it because I honestly didn't think the 57 Roadster was going to stand all that much of a chance, but it's showing the Bone Shaker who's boss in that first race, and it has a 1-0 series lead. The Bone Shaker must win here, or it's all over. 3, 2, 1. It's time for our third race. We are actually not switching back to lanes 1 and 6 anymore. We're going to 3 and 4, where it's a little bit more of a fair chance. And that Bone Shaker, if it looks familiar to you, because it probably does, it was in a 10-pack showcase that we did last summer. So anyways, let's get to the race. 3, 2, 1. that was a very close race, but the call stands, and we have possibly the biggest upset we will see all night, as the 57 Roadster takes out a fan favorite in the Bone Shaker. So I'm very surprised by this because I didn't know how those skinny wheels would perform. However, the big wheels in the back are what saved it. Now, it's time for our third race, which is an all-Mopar matchup. So we will see you there. The Dodge Dart and the Barracuda are getting their engines warmed up. And now, they will meet again at the track. It's time for race 1 of our third matchup. We have the Dodge Dart in lane 1, the Plymouth Barracuda in lane 6. And let's see who wins this matchup. It's our first real car matchup. 3, 2, 1. So sorry, we forgot to turn on the slow-mo camera for this race, for the first race. I promise we will have it for the second race, but man, that was a blowout and it wasn't even close. That Barracuda is struggling. We need to see an improvement from him if he wants to race for a third time. 3, 2, 1. That was a close call for the Barracuda, but it does edge out by a bumper. And it's do or die for both of these cars. It's a must-win for both. So we'll have to see what happens here. Who's going to win? Let's find out. Place your bets. 3, 2, 1. The Barracuda comes back after a very tough first race and wins 2-1 against the Dodge Dart. And it looked like the Dart was going to win that third race, but the Cuda rejected him. And without a further ado, it's time for our final matchup of the evening between the Bugatti EB110 and the McLaren F1. These two are going to be the final two cars this evening to get their engines warmed up. And now it's time to get to the track. We gotta do this quickly. Our iPad's running low, but we got the Bugatti in lane 6, McLaren F1 in lane 1. Let's see who wins this one. 3, 2, 1. The Bugatti pulled away heavily there, and it absolutely smoked the McLaren F1 by a few car lengths. Will that consist in the second race? We're going to have to wait and see. 3, 2, 1. Absolutely impressive performance by the Bugatti EB110. And quite the contrary for the McLaren F1. I was expecting this to be a much closer race, but the Bugatti showed why that it deserves a chance into the playoffs.
That is a wrap for the night. Our 4 losers consist of the Bone Shaker, the Forward Speed, the McLaren F1, and the Dodge Dart. I'd say the Bone Shaker losing is kind of a bit of an upset. I was kind of thinking that the Bone Shaker would win if, I don't know about you, but that was my thoughts. And we had ourselves some very good matchups. Our first winner was the Carbonator, followed by the 57 Roadster with that upset. Then the Barracuda coming back after being down 1-0. And the Bugatti finishing off our races tonight with a sweep. And now, let's take a look at our rankings. First place is the Bugatti, Carbonator in second, 57 Roadster in third, and the Barracuda in fourth with our slowest time of 1.7 seconds. And if you have a car that you want to see go down the track, and if you want to submit a car in, let us know. contact us through Superbirddiecast at gmail.com or Superbirddiecast on Instagram. You don't have to. It's not an obligation, but the offer is always open. We hope you enjoyed this week of racing. Next week's racing is up on the screen right now. So we hope to see you there for next week. Happy hunting and stay safe.